My name is Jethro Castillo with vCom Solutions, and today we're talking about 2025 and what it has in store for IT. Joining me today is John Adams, vCom's VP of Expense Management, Kirsten Dichiappari, vCom's VP of Customer Success, and Tim Lybrook, Managing Partner of AOTMP. We, of course, want to talk about the year 2025, but the future is obviously informed by the past, so it does make more sense to start with where we've been. So, Kirsten, we'll begin with you, and then everyone can chime in. But over the last few years, what do you think were kind of the biggest changes in technology management?
I think from our perspective, one of the things we've seen most prominently in our customers this year is a lot of acquisition activity, a lot of M&A activity. So we have a fair number of customers that are going in both directions here, customers who are growing and are acquiring other business units and are looking to bring those companies into their environments, looking to understand what's happening in those organizations and how to improve upon that. We see customers who are also telling us they're being acquired. And so working with them to help show the value of the work we do together, and then tapping into these new organizations to help them take advantage of what's already available, what's inside the building. So there's been a lot of activity in that area, a flurry of activity, I would say, in the last 6 to 9 months in that area. I also have seen a ton of referral opportunities. So the market's been so hot. We've had a lot of contacts going off and finding other opportunities and taking their preferred partners like us with them. So there's been a lot of growth in that area as well. And then the theme that I think everybody on any podcast is talking about is cost savings. Everyone is trying to maximize their budget and figure out ways to do more with less. And how can we consolidate relationships, consolidate vendors, do things better, save money here, there, and everywhere. And so that, I don't know that that's ever not been a theme, but it certainly has been one that has dominated the conversations we're having with customers this year.
I think it's important to look at, a multi-year trend, and it really goes back. Everything kind of went sideways with COVID. Definitely an event that threw the business world and threw technology in particular into a completely different mode. And I think we're really in post-COVID now. We've seen the change that happened then, and now, the markets have settled back in and businesses kind of returned to normal, but it's a new normal. And I think companies are really having to adjust to that. But you are seeing more of a normal economy, as Kirsten said, with mergers and acquisitions and things that some of those things that really slowed down are coming back. But companies are also making decisions about, is there a return to the office? Is there more of an emphasis on hybrid work environments, that sort of thing. And I think those are really important factors over the past few years that we're adjusting to now.
And I think from our perspective, we kind of sit between the vendors and the enterprises or the businesses. And one of the things that we've seen that has required a lot of adaptation on both sides is the speed of change. The amount of change that's happened over the last 2 to 3 years has been incredible. The vendors, have to keep up with that. The enterprises keep up with it. And a lot of people say in this technology management industry, a lot of things have changed, a lot of things haven't changed. But the one thing is for certain is the speed of change has rapidly increased. And keeping up with that, finding the right skill sets for that has definitely, been a challenge that people have had to face on an ongoing basis.
I would piggyback off of both of them by echoing what they said about the speed of change. I think one of the most surprising things I've seen this year, and we just talked about it at a conference a few weeks ago, is obviously AI, the elephant in every room, in every conversation, where we're going with that, and how 12 months ago, 9 months ago, people were curious and paying attention, and now it's everywhere. It's embedded everywhere in upskilling and improving employees' ability to do their jobs, going into products to improve the customer experience. It's everywhere. And that came on fast and furious, I think, more than most people expected it to.
I agree with the comment. Everybody's looking for cost savings, no doubt about it. But we're also starting to see, cost savings is a big deal for everybody, but the businesses are starting to look for what is the value beyond cost savings? How can I provide more value to the business beyond that just pure cost savings? And so we're seeing a lot of that going on. You can get cost savings in any environment, anytime, and that's where the priorities are. And beyond that, a lot of times we're seeing CFOs, CIOs, and even business owners that are saying, okay, what else can you do for me today to help me drive the business forward?
Yeah, I agree. I think companies are looking. It's not just go buy the cheapest thing, right? You have to advance your business, and you have to really look at how does this serve the business in a better way, and enable us to fulfill our mission, whatever that is. Whatever industry that you're in. And I think that's one of the challenges that people are facing and looking at today is, what do I get in addition to just a connectivity or, just mobile devices or, how do I deploy those and how do I further my business and keep up with this acceleration that we're seeing in the marketplace and help, my teams that are delivering to our customers do that in a better way. And they're looking for enhancements. What are better tools? What are better, what does this AI thing mean? As Kirsten said, it's a big buzzword and everybody thinks they should be using it, but are they using it correctly? Is it really furthering their business in a meaningful way? And so I think it's much less than just raw cost savings. It's more return on investment that you get from the decisions that you're making is very important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, because I think that we have to really educate our prospects and our customers at the limited window that cost savings has on someone's success. Once we've optimized you, once we have helped you to evaluate your environment and make the best choices, then you have the best choices. And obviously, that if you continue to believe that what you save on day one will be what you will save every year, and not take advantage of all the other things happening and not look at all the other things that you get, the partnership that you're getting, then you're missing it. And you're also, and from a customer success standpoint, we're setting ourselves up for failure by letting the customer believe that is going to be a goal that they can continue to have year over year.
Yeah, we always encourage the buyers to look at it, cost saving should be table stakes. Cost saving should be part of it. But the question you need to ask is, what value are you going to provide or can I provide to my organization beyond cost savings? That's my favorite question to ask people. What's the value beyond cost savings? And when you can answer that, then you've got something. When
COVID happened, that was a really big transition for IT, right? Every single company was scrambling to figure out the solution they needed to make sure that their company could keep running. And it got to a point where we got used to that, right? 2021, 2022, 2023, and even the majority of 2024, it's a lot of still coping with the consequences of COVID. At first, it was, can we get the solution we need no matter what the cost is? And then over time, it's like, okay, we've normalized. Now we need to cut costs from the excessive spending we did because of COVID. And now we're getting to the point now where they've cut the costs. And now they're like, we can advance now. We can move forward. The speed of change has increased. I think there's more questions and problems than what happened in 2020. It's no longer about cost savings. It's about the value beyond that. And Tim, we'll go back to you about this. But now let's talk about 2025, because now we're fully into the year of probably maximizing value rather than minimizing cost. And so what do you see kind of emerging in 2025 that we should be aware of?
Yeah, I think, looking at it across, both sides of the fence, if you will, as we sit in the middle, there's really kind of four things that we see in 2025. One, obviously, is the use of AI. Everybody's trying to get their minds around how do we use it? How can we capitalize on it? How do we eliminate the risk associated with it? It's a thing, and it's going to continue to be a thing. And so how do we leverage it but eliminate the risk? I think that's number one. Number two, we see a trend happening where the past kind of telecom, mobility, and technology management people are becoming more of consultants to their organization than they are, the telecom people. They no longer have to get under desk and plug in wires, right? That's not what they're doing anymore. And that's using an old example, but it's more about how do these people become consultants to the organization to help drive the business forward and serve the other departments. So we see a trend towards, consulting. And then the third thing that we see a lot of is we see a lot of how are we going to use this new technology? It's kind of like we use the example very simple. When you don't need to know how to do math anymore, you need to know how to use a calculator, right? Or a computer, right? And it's kind of the same thing here. Is is there's so many different technology options that you can use to drive business results and optimize your environment and contribute more to the business in the various different departments. It's more about that thought process and how do you use that technology to do it, like writing scripts or writing prompts, and all that is becoming a skill set that's more important than other areas. And you can leverage AI, for instance, and all kinds of different areas across the technology environment. And then the very last thing that we see trending into 2025 is it's and we touched on it before. It's more about not cost savings. It's more about how do we drive business results? How do we help the people in HR? How do we help the people in sales? How do we help them, drive towards their objectives and what they need to get accomplished to contribute to the business? So I think those are the four things that we see heading into 25. Managing SaaS contracts is huge. I mean, the list goes on, but those are kind of four of the biggest trends we see.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and you hit on there. One of the things that we're seeing, which is a result of COVID, is there's a lot of shadow IT out there where people went and bought their own licenses, and they were just kind of the Wild West and just as this adjustment was being made, and it was sort of like, if you need something, just go get it and use it because we've got to get things in place quickly. And there really is a more methodical approach now, right? You're taking time to really evaluate what you have and, leverage your ability to buy enterprise-wide rather than on an individual basis. And that's a cost savings, but it also is bringing back a more strategic view as we go into 25 that, we really have to tighten down our strategy for where we're going. And we're seeing more, the 1, 3, 5 year plan for the business, and people are trying to get more in step with that and get that in place. And I think that's going to be very important in the next year or so as we see what happens in the marketplace. There's still a lot of uncertainty, the markets in general, and the shifts in technology that are coming and are happening. So I think that's going to be very important this coming year.
So I was at our advisory council meeting a couple of months ago, and shadow IT was the topic. And the first guy that raised his hand to kind of volunteer to start the conversation, he said, I don't know why this is a topic. He said, this is under control at our company. We don't have shadow IT problems. And I don't know how many hands went up immediately, but everybody else on the call said, wait a minute, we need to talk about shadow IT. It is a huge issue in the industry. And so, John, back to what you said, it's definitely something to pay attention to in 2025.
I want to do a deviation a little bit. We're talking a lot about, I guess, 2024, the last few years, 2025, what to expect. But I think it also helps, at least for me, to know what challenges are no longer challenges. I was writing about how to move from SIP to UCaaS. Just last year, I was talking about moving to SD-WAN. And now people are like, no, now it's about moving from SD-WAN to a new SD-WAN. Now it's about moving from UCaaS to a new UCaaS. What exactly has passed, and now what are the new problems coming from that, if that makes sense?
I like your question. And the reason I like it is that, as long as I've been in this industry in telecom, it's the same problem that comes at you in a different way. Connectivity is always connectivity, you think, but new technologies are being rolled out. And this goes back to what Tim said about the pace of change. And you're right. So many companies have, they transformed their network. We got off MPLS. We went to SD-WAN where, we've got this new technology. Well, here comes another technology, and you evaluate that and it has a return on investment. So I think that's the challenge, as a matter of fact, is things are becoming antiquated so quickly that were the great thing just a year ago, 2 years ago. And trying to keep up with that is very, very difficult. And it causes a lot of cycles within an IT group supporting their business where you feel like you're just constantly transforming your network, and you really are, but you're doing it for good business reasons, and it continues to serve your business in a better way, but you never stop. You never stop innovating and changing and bringing new things to your business, because your business is never stopping, and it's constantly changing and having to keep up in the marketplace. And you want to make sure that you have the right tools that are returning the right investment on them. So it is that continuing, evolution of technology and the continuing, change in the marketplace that's difficult to keep up with because it just never ends.
And I love that example because we're selling to and working with humans who are afraid to make a mistake. They're afraid to send their company down a path that might change. Well, the truth is we have to remind them that will change. The path they're going to go down will change. It is not a one and done. It is not a forever sale. So we are going to constantly be coming back to the customer to iterate and optimize their environments and their technology stack. And that doesn't mean they made a mistake. We're working with them to overcome their fear, manage their fear of technology they don't understand. It's not their job to understand it. It's our job to understand it and help them make the best decision for their business today, knowing that at some point in the future, all of this will be in consideration again. As you said, these problems are always coming around again because we've found new ways to solve them. And so what's best in class today will not be best in class in 10 years.
I think we see a lot of buyers. They're starving for advice and guidance, from their partners. They can't keep up with the technology. I was listening in on a panel yesterday where a lot of healthcare companies still have pagers and fax machines, and yet the rest of their organization is talking about new technologies and AI, and they're trying to balance it. Also, what we see as in the industry is we see a lot of people looking for guidance, looking for help, not come and try to sell them products, but they're looking for vendors that can come in and help support them and give them ideas on what, other people are doing. They just want ideas. They want to know that it's okay to, not know everything. And so we see a lot of that going on in the industry with the buyer side. They just want help and guidance.
Pure knowledge.
Yeah.
But that's, the pace of change that you brought up is I guess is now becoming the name of the game of this conversation, is hugely important. And it's a massive challenge in the sense that, imagine I'm a buyer. Back in the day, I can't say that, like 5 years ago, like what you implemented didn't need to be updated for maybe another 2 or 3 years. Now it's like, this could change tomorrow. And so pretend I'm a buyer. I'm scared that what I buy today will be the wrong thing tomorrow. And so then I'll have to let go of that and buy something new tomorrow because suddenly a new issue arose. And so I end up having analysis paralysis and I buy nothing and I just continue to fall behind. That is going to be real in 2025. We have more SaaS products than ever before. SD-WAN is huge. UCaaS is huge. All of a sudden you're going to buy something and it's going to, I feel like now I'm talking about something that is just a drastic change in how the industry even operates. And that is beyond me. I just want to know your guys' thoughts on that. Like, we're going so fast that we're going to get to a point that we have to change every other day. And that seems untenable, unrealistic. Do we peter off at some point? Like, and again, we're all just like guessing, I guess, but how are we going to address this rate of change? Like you said, Tim, everyone wants advice, but the advice, you're going to need someone who gives you advice like every week almost. And so does that become what IT looks like now? I just want your guys' thoughts on that. And if you guys are wrong a year from now, we can just go back to this and be like, look how wrong your take was. But anybody have any thoughts on the real risk of this pace of change that's happening?
I can only tell you from our perspective. I mean, it used to be okay to have a project that took a year or two to get implemented. And now, just like you said, I mean, a year or two is like forever. And so there are a lot of people that they're just like analysis paralysis. It's like, wait a minute, whatever I do today is going to be obsolete, a year from now or 18 months from now. So we see that all the time. Absolutely. And I don't know why. I mean, when you look back over history, back to how long it took to get a television or a radio or a car or anything else compared to how long it takes to get something today on the market, I mean, it's a little scary. We've all been around for 10 years or more, and we're all going to be around for hopefully another 10 years. What's it going to be like 10 years from now? And that's what we got to think about and prepare for.
Yeah, I think that the most important thing for the markets to understand is you don't need to go it alone. That when you tap into organizations that bring depth and breadth of experts in all of the areas, it's not like going out and finding 10 or 20 or 30 different consultants to speak to, but trying to consolidate that effort and lean into an organization or organizations that are going to bring you the best of the best and keep working with you to keep you feeling comfortable. I don't know that to your point, I don't know that the customer is expected to feel super confident because the pace of change, but to feel comfortable that they can collect enough information to make a good decision. And in certain areas, as you were describing, SaaS is one in particular, where now you're evaluating vendors against vendors on solutions that are brand new to the marketplace, AI being one of them. Like 3 or 4 people are doing the same thing, and that product and that innovation in and of itself is evolving by the minute. So how do you make the best guess on where to dip your toe in the water? And you just don't do it by yourself. Like there are people out there that this is their world, and this is what we do.
I agree. It's because of the pace of change. Part of it really goes back to the decisions you're making at the beginning, right? And having a methodology to select the right technology, the right partner to provide that technology and where it's going to go, and being able to look out and say, well, this is what we're going to go with because we have confidence in this provider to evolve this product to meet where we're going. So I don't have to make a change to a different product. This will get updated and we'll be able to use it as we go forward in the future. And I think having that methodology on the front end in a refined vendor selection process is really, really important. And that's, as Tim has pointed out, that's where having a partner who keeps up with the trends for you and helps you understand what's going on and makes it so you can run your business and you can focus in on your core mission as your business because you have a trusted advisor that's going to stay up to date on all of these things and give you that great guidance that helps you make those right decisions.
We would argue all day long, especially in the mid-market and the small business market, we would argue that it's impossible to keep up with all the different options. I mean, they're coming on the market so fast. There are so many different options. It's enough to make your head spin and it makes it difficult to make decisions. So we would argue all day long as a small or mid-sized business that you need partners that can kind of guide you and give you and present different options to you. Makes the decision-making process a whole lot easier and gives you the opportunity to stay up to date, like you said, John, with the latest technologies.
Well, yeah. So John, well, I guess we'll just kick this off then. And Tim mentioned this, mid-sized organizations, small businesses especially, they face immense resource and budget constraints. It's literally impossible, like Tim said, to do this all on your own. So given the restrictions, we can only focus on a few things at a time. 2025's coming up. Where would you say, and now we're just talking about all these issues and we're like, oh, everything's going to change. And now all we've done for the last 27 minutes is stress out anybody who's listening going, okay, so what's next? I know nothing. What can you suggest as a few priorities to maximize impact next year?
Yeah, it's, being in mid-enterprise puts you in a unique position in the market. And it's one of the reasons that we focus in on that part of the market. You're large enough that you have complexity. You've got some real needs to provide technology to your organization, probably growing rapidly. And being able to keep up with what's happening in the marketplace is very difficult. You're not going to have a lot of staff sitting around that can develop expertise and do these extra things. You're scrambling just to support your organization and, keep the lights on and keep, connectivity going and everyone functioning. So you need a partner that's going to help you. And I think unique to mid-enterprise is sort of the way that we see those companies growing. And quite often, as Kirsten mentioned, it's mergers and acquisitions. And you're trying to blend different environments together. That's when it really becomes crucial to have a partner with you who can help you evaluate that and help you make decisions about how that consolidation should happen, how it's going to work, and to help keep you on your strategy, right? And one of the things that mid-enterprises, when they partner with a company who has the ability to help them make decisions and manage their environment both, then you have a partner that's really on your side. They're providing you the visibility you need into your current environment, help you make the decisions you need for the future, and not trying to sell you anything because it, doesn't matter who you buy from. We want you to have the right thing going forward. And so, with mid-enterprises, it's that complexity and that constant change. We hear that from our customers all the time. It's if anything's constant is change. And sometimes you don't know what's coming, sometimes you do. But, having someone who's been there with you, understands what you have and where you want to go, and can help you with that with a variety of resources, by the way. And I think that is really important. Having a partner that's got a large, different areas of expertise that they can bring to bear to help you, not just a network company, not just a mobile company, not just a SaaS company, but they can look across all of your environment and help you create a cohesive strategy across it. That's the most important thing. Is it's very difficult for a mid-enterprise to piecemeal a solution. If you have one person that's helping with network and another group that's helping with mobile and another that's SaaS, and they're not talking, you get caught in the middle of that again, trying to make decisions that are difficult for you to make because it's hard for you to keep up with the marketplace. And so looking for someone that has the breadth to look across your environment and help you have that cohesive strategy, I think is really critical. Second is, as mentioned earlier, what are these new technologies? And AI is obviously the new thing, right? And we hear it all the time from people that we deal with. The IT director comes to us and says, "Hey, I got to get AI. What do I do? How do I buy that? What's going on?" Everybody wants to use it. And understanding how, these things that are buzzwords in the marketplace that are really being pushed, but how do you leverage those technologies for the good of your business? Not just get it and have it, but what is it going to return to your business, and what's the infrastructure you need to support it, right? If you're getting into using more AI, how does that change what you need as far as your core technologies to be able to deliver that to your environment and have it be productive across your company? Those things are very important, and it really requires a partnership to achieve it.
I love that, John, because you can't be siloed in your solutions. You can't have a siloed mobile solution and a siloed network solution, because it doesn't, especially from the expense standpoint, but the visibility, you have to have that across your ecosystem, your technology ecosystem, and take a really strategic approach to what you're doing. So it's critical that you have a partner that can look at more than one thing and help you, because that's the reality of your day-to-day world, is you're looking at more than one thing, and we need to be able to do the same with you and for you.
That's one of the things that we hear as an independent third party. We hear from the enterprises and the businesses all the time about what they like and don't like about particular vendors. And one of the things that we continue to hear about you guys and vCom in particular is they love your technology for sure. They love the versatility of your technology, but what they like more is all the expertise and knowledge that you have around so many different areas of managing that environment. And technology is great, but it's really the people behind it, the knowledge behind it that makes the big difference in the marketplace.
I guess it really addresses my main question of like, how what do you buy? And I guess you buy something that's dynamic, right? You buy a partnership. That sounds weird now. You buy a relationship, you buy a partnership. You know what I mean? How do you buy when it could be different tomorrow? And it's like, when I buy, I make sure that I understand what their roadmap is, where they're moving, so that I know that we're moving in the same direction together, so that when my needs change, their needs are changing simultaneously. And the fact that you guys are bringing this up, I'm like, whoa, this is that big trend of we're starting to buy or invest in dynamicism, someone who can change and adapt with you and help you find the right resources. And I think that's so interesting that becomes the end all solution. But it makes sense, right? Especially when you're a mid-size, you don't have enterprise level stuff. So it's like but you can get the team for a fraction of the cost. And then maybe enterprise people will realize, oh, we can also do that for a fraction of the cost. All right. See you guys later.
Yeah, Jethro, it's a really good point. One of the reasons that we're seeing such a shift to subscription-based IT is because it's easier to change that out. You don't have to build, servers and data centers and things around it. You can subscribe to a service, and as long as it's serving you, then that's what's best for your business. And when your business needs start to change, now you can reevaluate and you can move into something else. And the shift there is easier. And that takes a lot of expertise, however, to understand something new that's being introduced, your business needs and your strategy for your business and how that will help. But that subscription-based tool set that's why that's becoming so important, and companies are adopting that so quickly, is because it gives them flexibility. It gives them, change becomes easier to
Yeah.
accomplish with that. If there is a new business need that you need to respond to, and so that's a really, really good point. Is rather than building hard infrastructure that's difficult to manage and maintain and change, now you're on a subscription base, which gives you the ability to change rapidly when needed. But even to evolve the technology you're using in that subscription more rapidly, and those changes come about more rapidly. So maybe it's the same tool, but it improves and you're still using it.
We would argue that you're buying the relationship more than you're buying technology these days. Technology is important, but what's more important is the partner that you're working with, because change is so rapid. Like you said, John, it's about, I want a partner that can adapt to change. I want a partner that can help me through change. I want a partner that's not going to bail on me when things are rushed or we have issues. I want a partnership that can work together and quickly adapt, to whatever's going to come our way.
Price is price and product is product. So what are you buying? And you're buying relationships and you're buying trust. And one of the most interesting things I think I've noticed in the post-COVID world is that we pivoted to work from home. So everybody bought there was all of this bloat in buying the ability to do everything remotely. Everybody was on Zoom fatigue, all of that. But at the end of the day, what we're doing right now is we're getting back in the car, we're getting back on a plane, and we're going out and we're having conversations and building relationships with our customers. Because if the phone is the same, what are you buying? You're buying that trust in that when it's not this phone, it's the next thing, or it's not this plan, it's the next thing, or it's not this widget, it's the next one. You know that we're going to be the ones you can trust to bring you that advice, to hold you accountable when you don't make the decisions that we recommended, to work with you to figure out, what are the low-hanging fruit opportunities to help you. How can we work together? What are you trying to accomplish? Your goals are going to change as your business grows and adapts. And somebody was talking about, Tim was talking about roadmap. Like that's really important. And it is a strange thing to say in the world of technology, the least technical thing is the thing that matters the most.
And we often referred to this industry over the years as 50 shades of beige, and everything looks the same from a technology standpoint. And it really does. I mean, we sit between the vendors and the enterprises, and so we see lots of different technology. And a lot of times we hear the customers saying, this technology is all the same. How do I differentiate? And so we started coining it as 50 shades of beige. But it's really the people, the relationship, and all of that makes the difference. Who's gonna work with you and partner with you and adapt as things change.
I think this is a really amusing conversation to me in the sense that we're saying, hey, the biggest challenge is that everything's moving faster. You need to know what your next solution is going to be. But your solution is actually going to be nothing related to those things directly. You're actually going to take a long time to find a relationship that you trust, and then you can move fast in all those things. So it's very interesting to me that the solution is not directly, let's figure out each of these things, because literally this will be irrelevant in a month. We're saying, hey, you got to go slow to go fast, and you need to go really fast. So make sure you go really slow and find the right partner, because they're going to be there forever. And so you're buying the relationship, but you're also buying flexibility, to John's point of being able to change at a moment's notice. So you need someone who's adaptable. I've always said that IT is better together. And that's literally what we've been talking about for the last 40 minutes, that we need to work together. I don't know if you guys know the Care Bears or anything like that, but it's like the power of friendship is what it's. This just started to devolve into that to me, where it's like, oh, we're just Care Bears saying, hey, it's time to work together. You don't need to know anything about tech. Just the power of friendship will shoot you guys through. And I with all of the technical jargon that's going on, that's what I'm getting from this, is just like each other a little bit more. We're at time, but I want to be able to take this time to close for all three of you. Final thoughts about anything that you didn't get to talk about. We'll start in the order that we started: Kirsten, then Tim, and then John. Any final thoughts to close this conversation?
Well, I've been thinking about your Care Bear analogy and thinking about the people trying to figure out where to dip their toe in the water of AI. And the truth of the matter is that from a starter perspective, the best way to integrate AI into what you're doing is to put it in the places that don't need people, so that your people are out there building those relationships. They're having those conversations. So anything that has the opportunity to be automated, optimized, to use machine learning, that you can, and people are doing it in their daily lives. So if it's making your emails more professional, if it's taking notes in your conversations, if it's instantly making things happen so that you can have these conversations, these trusted conversations about where do we go next, that's how you should start.
I think, the biggest thing is, find the partners that can help, educate you, on the options and help you adapt to change and all that. Whoever the partner is, just, someone that can help you not have to navigate this, the speed of change alone. I think that's the biggest thing, because AI is changing by the minute, security is changing it's all just changing so quickly. You need partners and help to keep you up to speed.
Yeah, I would say, in a world where the one constant is change, you need a partner that can help you identify, buy, and manage your IT environment, and that will be there with you for the long haul to help you execute on your strategies. And will take over the parts that you don't want to have to do so you can focus on your business. And I think that's the most important thing, particularly for the mid-enterprise that we work with, is that partner that can really help you execute on your technology strategy. So as a company, you can execute on your business strategy.
Let me formally close this. John, Kirsten, Tim, this conversation was a pleasure. Thanks so much for your time and thoughts. My thoughts is may 2025 be kind to us all. So thank you again, and take care, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
All right. Bye-bye.